would you like to see some pictures of little billfish? The reason baby billfish are interesting is because we don't see them very often. We should see them more often because the reproductive potential of billfish is enormous. So a 1,000-pound black marlin will produce at least 100 million eggs in a given season. So throughout her life she'll produce billions of eggs. Same with swordfish and most of the other billfishes. That means there must be a lot of level larvae for sure, and so as they get bigger, of course, there's lots of mortality that happens. Why don't we see them when they're this big or this big more often? Do you know what that is? This is caught off Florida at night. It's a swordfish, yeah. We know it's a swordfish from those little teeth along here. They're like denticles on the skin. They actually have teeth in their bills and the long lower jaws. The beauty of these little billfish is that they don't look like the adults. They actually metamorphose, especially swordfish. They're a bit like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They change their shape as they get bigger, and their dorsal fins. Their dorsal fins are nearly always high, and then they get lower. So that was one caught off Florida. That's also a swordfish. I don't think it's the same fish, but caught in the same area. Really, really long bill, even when they're really little. And beautiful colours too, you know, like things that you don't think about. They're obviously a real mini predator in their own little miniature environment. In the same area, there's a sailfish. Now, so all these little billfish do have this big dorsal, but the sailfish has the biggest dorsal, even when it's really little. There's another sailfish. This is just an old illustration of a small sailfish from the Red Sea, again showing this really high dorsal fin. And then I'll show you a black marlin later on in contrast. Now, have you guessed what they are?
Sorry.
Dolphin fish? No. No, blue marlin. Yeah. Now, the really interesting thing is, if these were short-bill spearfish, they would have long bill, which is really weird, isn't it? Because they lose their bill. But blue marlin don't actually grow a bill until they're, well, the next slide, until they're relatively large. That's also a blue marlin caught on a longliner off Mooloolaba. An observer took that photo. No bill at all. And yet a black marlin would have a bill out here.
How big is that, Jules?
Well, there's a glove there, so that's a hand.
Oh, okay.
So quite small, you know, probably 60 centimetres, something like that. Really rare photo. There's hardly any photos of blue marlin that big. Here's another one. Here's an ancient photo. This is how rare they are. This is from Florida. The bill of this one is about here, so it's just started to develop its bill, and that one was weighed 5 kilos, I think.
That's a blue marlin?
That's a blue marlin, yes. Now this is a black marlin. This was caught at Southwest Rocks on a little lure. And see how it's got a more flat dorsal fin compared to the sailfish? It's also got 3 spots on the dorsal fin here. And we know these are black marlin because we've had some DNA done on a couple of fish the same size. And I also had one fish the same size as this. This one was let go, but we did get one exactly this size that was caught at Jarvis Bay years ago. And I had the otoliths taken out of the head, the otoliths of the ear bones. And on a big fish that's lived for years, you can count the rings like rings on a tree and tell how old they are, annual. But the interesting thing with little fish, like billfish and tuna, is that you can count the daily rings. They actually put down a little ring, tiny little deposit of calcium carbonate on their ear bone every day. And that's, you know, a diurnal thing. In the daytime they're feeding, at night time they're not, so they're growing and not growing, and growing and not growing. And by doing that, this fish would be estimated at about 80 days old. And that would be a pretty accurate estimate because you're actually counting the days when we know that they are days. So they're amongst the fastest growing fish in the ocean, probably are the fastest growing. By the time a black marlin is 1 year old, it would be 25 to 30 kilos. Here's another black marlin bigger. This is about 4 kilos. This is Harvey Bay, where they get quite a few small ones up there. And that fish would be estimated at, I had some ear bones of ones that size, and they were estimated at about 4 months old. So it sort of ties in with those fast growth rates. And just a few more, picture gallery. Same size black marlin from Cape Morton, not far from Fraser. But over in Western Australia, especially off Exmouth and Broome sometimes, they get exactly the same size fish over there too. So we know that that means that there's a spawning group of black marlin off there, because if this fish is only 4 months old, it hasn't gone that far in 4 months, and we know that there is a spawning group of black marlin up off Western Australia as well. We see very few striped marlin, small ones. This is a really bad photo of I think this weighed 14 pounds off Hawaii. Striped marlin are the real enigmatic ones. They very rarely see little ones. So that was unusual. And this one was off Samoa.